Can anyone hear me? Hello. Good morning. Yes. So I was saying we should maybe just have a chat and talk about a few things. Like if you have any questions, I can answer the question before we move to the next stage of MB to upload it. And so like it should. I would appreciate it if my effort does not seem wasted and everyone is really trying to you know learn. Yes, thank you. Because sometimes people are messaging me privately and asking me questions, and I'm like, well, I just address these questions in the videos. It's it would seem like very unfair. I'm not saying people should not ask questions, but if you watch the videos, you will be able to. If you watch the videos, you'll be able to. You'll be able to know what to ask and what to not ask. So okay, so I believe you can also my screen, right? So okay, so I'll do a quick revision before we move to today's class. So the, my first design when I was designing was um was very terrible. So it's okay for our design to not be perfect. Very soon I'm going to share us a link for design challenge 100 days of design. So you design 100 things in 100 days. So what makes a designer good is not about how well you can use Figma or how well you can use this and that, but your consistency with practice and how you're able to, practice. So let's talk about this design first of all, and let's talk about what is wrong with this design. So there's what we call design thinking in design and color theory. Now, why is this design distracting? Because of the background. I explained it. In design, there's something called KISS. It means keep it simple, stupid. That's what it means. Keep it simple. So if you look at this design, you'll see that it has just one color. So you can see in this design, that's just one color. And the designer used just purple or like and put two buttons here and put this one here. You would see that if you are to think as a designer or think as a user, this water splash here, I know the person had a good idea for it. It's distracting this particular design. We put this design there for something, for a reason, just to make it beautiful. And we put this here and this also. But by putting the water at the background, you are making it hard for someone to focus and pay attention to this text. Also making it hard for people to place their eye on these two images. These two images become lost because of this background. Also, our background good because we want to make sure that users are able to focus on backing design can be done through color, through font size, and through font width. And pop, 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 and there are no two colors. That's not good for design. So one of the rules of design is to make sure you have more than one color in your design. You must use two colors for design at best. From today, I want you to go out there on the streets of Lagos or Abuja or Port Harcourt, wherever you are. I want you to look at good flyers. Look at GT Bank logo. Look at GT Bank designs. Look at Coca-Cola flyer magazines, good magazines. You will notice that good magazines and good flyers, they have something in common. They mostly use two colors. Unless they are doing a retro design or brutalism, most designs that are simple and good have two colors in their design. Yeah, only use one color. It would have been really nice if the text had said natural. It would have been nice if the text that said natural was black and and we didn't have these two distracting buttons and they didn't take the color. This background, this one did not take it. from my design, you know, hold on while I, switch tabs. Can everyone see my design? Okay. From my design, you look at the difference between this one and the other one. Let me paste it there. So if you look at the two designs now, it's okay if your designs are not perfect. That's fine. Look at what I did here. I was able to play around with colors. I used this color and I used a second color. Why? In color theory, we have what we call the 60 ratio, 30 ratio, 10. So if you're using colors in design and you're using more than one color or three colors, you must split your colors in this ratio. If you look at this, my design now, we'll see there are three colors that are dominant there. 60% of my design color here is white. The background is mostly white. 30% is black. This one and this ones are black. Then we have 10% which goes to this one and this one. Am I making sense? And next time you want to split your color, you must split your color in this ratio 60, 30, 10. Yeah, so that's how to split colors in design 60, 30, 10. So these buttons are usually called the accent colors. Sometimes when you click on this button, if you go to a website and you hover around it, you see that the color of this icon will change to maybe this color when you hover your mouse over it. If you've noticed that on website, and you just put all these playful things around here, you know. Even if I had done this and taken all this out, the designs would still have made sense. The only problem with my design so far is balance, and that's the sense that the design is not at the middle. Yeah, so I just need to pull this one down. Now that I've removed that shape, I just need to pull this down and I have a balanced design. They're on, so there's what we call eye tracking effects. Eye tracking is when your eyes can move from left to right. Because we are mostly in Nigeria, we read from left to right. That is why it's best to place your image on the right hand side and place your text. So we want people to read natural product for best results. So the person is like, okay, natural product for best result. Then his eyes moves here next. But on this design, I'm like, okay, what's this? You know, and instead of me focusing on the product, I'm focusing on the water splash, trying to understand. I mean, you could have painted this color, made this color black, and it will have worked. Now, there's a shadow here in the design. I'm not sure you understand how to shadow. So the purpose of shadows in design is to make it as faint as possible, subtle, hardly seen. You don't even know it's there. So what people say in UI UX design, what one of the rules or the laws is that a good design is a design that you cannot notice, but bad design is a design you notice, you are aware of. Sorry, is anyone saying they cannot hear me? Let me check. I'm trying to check the group. Okay, yeah. So I think we can learn from our mistakes now. I even forgot to do 50% off in my new design. I think someone texted me yesterday asking how to do this circle. I know the person's on this call right now. Ola Waju. So I would, but anyway, this is how to do it. You come to the star. We're trying to do this 50% off. Then you drag, you hold shift and create your shape, and you come to the right hand side. You can see that your star has 5 sides. Then change it to maybe 8 sides or 9 sides star, and then increase this. Then the radius also increase it. So we have our star already. Our then we can just give it the color we want to give it. As you can see, you can always just play around with it. Then you center your text inside. Basically, this is how to, you know, uh, and next time you notice that if you are using a frame and it's trying to enter your frame, instead hold space bar and over so you can stay on top. So basically, this is how to do that. Now for this second design, you can see so many problems with it. I I know we're getting better in design, but clearly all the things I explained, I'm not sure the person followed everything in design. In the first design, I explained that when we are designing, we must split our design. In the video I made concerning this video, I dropped 2 days ago or a day ago, I said your desktop must always be split into a grid. Please hold on while I admit someone else into the group, to the call. So I said you might want to, I explained something about 8 point grid. So I said our designs must be done in 8 point grids. Our points. Can everyone hear me well now? Can everyone hear me? Yes. So I said when you're designing, we do our designs in 8 point grid. For example, if you look at my design here, when I calculate the size of this text, I make the size a multiple of 8. We have 8, 16, 24, 32, 40, right? That's it. So when I create my size and my buttons, they all follow the same rule. When I look at the distance between this text and this text, I told you how to do it. I can do 16. So the distance between this button, I mean this text and this text is 16, and this is 32, and 32 is a multiple of 8. So now when you are styling and designing for desktop, you split your designs into columns instead. You come here, column. Then I can now use 12 column. Then a margin of 100, or I said 150 can be used. You can also reduce it to 8 if you want, depending on you. And gutter is the space between the two elements, this space and this space. Margin is the distance between the border here and this area. That's margin, and I give it 150. Gutter should be 24. It all depends on what I want to use. Please hold on while I admit someone else into the group. So, yes, please ask the question. The spacing in between, yeah. Okay, I'm not sure I get the question, but you mean how do I achieve the space between the distance between here and here? These two. You just measure, you have to measure. You click on the element, the first element, you want to see the distance from here to here. And then you hold Alt on your computer and you just hover around the next element close to it. Do you get? So let's say I want to check the distance from here to this place. I just hold Alt and I over my mouse. I can see the distance between here is 152, 290. Please, could you mute your mic, please? Mute your speaking. Thank you. So I have explained how to get the distance between the two elements. You select the element, hold Alt, the Alt key, and you hover your mouse around the element. Then, while the element is selected, you can just press your arrows on your laptop, on your computer, up and down to move up and down. If you even hold Shift now, you can move in multiples of 10, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. But if you just press your arrow, it's going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But if you hold Shift and you press your arrow down, up, or left or right, it jumps in a multiple of 10 or 8, depending on your settings. So that's it. So I said for this design, there's the design is not breathing. There's no adequate space between your left and right. There's no adequate space between your left and right. As you can see from ear to ear, you can just drag your ruler and just do this. So there needs to be more than the same space you have here should be the same space you have here. So your design should just be at the center. In the first book I told everyone to read, you would read something about how users have bad attention span and designing and understanding how to design for people. Make sure your text does not span the entire width and length of your website. Anyways, that's that. And let me bring it. I'll find it now. So let me pull it out. Copy. See here, you can see my grid. Make sure that everything's aligned to a particular side. And here, so I'll turn off the grid button. This is the toggle to turn it off so that I can see your design well. You can see that I made sure that this one was dark and this one was lighter, a lighter shade. The size of this button is 40. The size of this one is 16. Then I made sure that the size of this one is 16. The size of this one inside is 14. I have to make sure that it is faint. Also, if you look at good forms, you see that this one is a bit, the color is 838383. The same color with this one. That's consistency. So the colors you must use must also be very, very consistent with each other if you want to do that. And you know, our checkbox is not properly done here. The Google icon and this one are not done properly also. I have said you can group them together with shifts. 14 additional space. I can now even increase it to 8. Then I said to group your icon and your text together. You select the icon, hold shift, select the second one, and press Ctrl plus G to group. That's how to group these two together. So I have explained this already, and I explained that this has to just be subtle and hierarchy. Why is this one smaller? Why is this one big? It's all about design thinking. You don't want to distract people. This form will make it hard for people who have different kind of eye disability to see what has been done here. Some people's eye disability will not know that there's a text here because of this kind of background. So anyways, it also seems that the person who designed this did not use the right width. I speculated, so I'll go over it again for those who are joining for the first time. To choose your frame, your desktop size, you come to frame here, top here, you choose your desktop or any of the screen you're designing for. Most of the times we always design for desktop, so I would want everyone to choose desktop instead. For mobile phones, you are designing with iPhone 14 is out already. Interesting. This is new. iPhone 14, all the iPhone 14 size and iPhone 13, you can all choose each of these ones and design for them. I- Tommy, do you have a question? Olashade, do you have a question? Obina, do you have a question? Okay. Sassy, do you have a question, please? Okay, I was able to arrange it together. Okay. So let me delete this and circles. In this design, you can see a rectangle here, a rectangle here. You can see it's a rectangle that is movable. Then I placed this shape on top. Then to draw your frame, to draw this, you just so I have said you must always align your element make sure that your elements this they do not pass the boundary. Now look at this. If this rectangle was like this and small like this, and this was like this, it will not make a good form. Next thing, select your. Please hold on while I admit. So I have said you remove the fill, then change height to 70 also, because I think I used 70. Click on and change the height to 62. Then I would increase the width to the end and change the corner radius to 8. Then we can see that the colors are different. The colors of this one that here and this one are different. So I'll just change this color to please could you mute your mic? Thank you. So I'll change this to A3, A3, no, A3, A3. Okay, what color did I use? 5. This. Okay, so I'll use the color. So now this now selected. I can scroll, I can push down with my arrows. My arrow key is just by my right hand side on my keyboard. Just down. Please, can you mute your mic? Thank you. So I can the text here for this email title is 16. So I'll just write the text of 16. T, I'll choose T for text. Then I'll write password. Then I'll put it to the side here. Then you can now even look at the distance between this text and this one, 7. The space between the border and the text is 7. So I'll do the same here. Then I can use my arrow to just move down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. No, that's wrong math. I need to do 7. So I was from 12. This is 4, 5. I need 7. So 2 up, 1, 2 on my arrow. Then I have 7. Good. Now, next, I want to do this text. I can now duplicate this text. You can do Control D to duplicate, then just drag out, or you can just hold Alt and drag out. So I would come here and say on the same line, do not forget you have to be on the same line, and say please enter your password. Now this text is 14%. I'm using Poppins font for those who have never joined any class before. Then I would come and click the text and I would go and change it to 14. I would come back here and look at what color they are using. I'm using A3, A3, A3 for the text color. I would come here and fill it in with A3, A3, A3. Now this is it. But unlike this one, this is a group. I have grouped all these elements into one piece. I thought a new way of, for those who watched the last video I made, I taught something called auto layout. You might want to go and watch that video and learn how I made the buttons in a simple and fast way without doing this. But for now, if you look at this text in this border, it says it's 18 pixel up and 27 pixel down. So it says it's 18 pixel up and 21 pixel down. You want to make sure that this text is at the center like this one, like this one, 22, 23. Yeah, it's okay if it's 22, 23. Sometimes you can't just get it because some of these texts have different characteristics that make them, bigger than each other than other type of font. So I can just come to this property settings. This is what I'm going to use. So I'll select this one and also select this one. To select two items, look at this place. To select these two items and hold them at the same time, you have to hold shift. So control and shift and alt are are three things your hand is going to be on many times when you're designing. Your hand will always be on control shift alt if you want to work fast. This entire design will take me about maybe 10 minutes to complete, or 5 minutes if I decide to do that in 5 minutes. So I have said to select this item, and you select this one. You hold Alt Shift rather. You hold Shift to select the two. Then you come here and you click on Center Alignment Vertical. Once you do that, you can see it adjusted to the center of this border. Is it clear, or do I have to go again? If you want me to go again, please let me know. Okay, so let me explain using this rectangle, and I'll make a second rectangle inside. So alignment tool at the top here is used when you have something like this. So we have two shapes, right? This shape can either stay here at the corner or stay at the center. Can you see that there's a line showing, a red line showing that this text, this particular element is at the center of this shape? We can also have, and sometimes it might be here, it might just be randomly here, and we don't want it to be that way. We don't want it to be rough. We want these two items to be on a straight line. So what do? You first select this one, hold shift on your computer, select this one also while holding shift. You can see these two rectangles are selected here. Then to make them on the same line, you do what? You center align. Can you see it? Then distance between the two of them is shown here. From this place to this place is 224. I can, to see that manually, I can just hold Alt and over my mouse, I can see 224. Or I can hold Shift and select the two together, and I can see 224. And I can now change it to 200. Then to make them one entity, I can now group them. Control plus G. Look, it has shown you group already. Then if you double click here, so you don't get confused, sometimes it's very, very good to name your layers. I can now say rectangle, rectangle, blue. So now they're on the same area. So now if I put it here, but I want to have them on the center, what do? I come here, I select this one, I hold shift, and I select the background also. Then I come here and I can center it. Can you see it's centered? But it's center here. So to do that, I come here to the alignment tool and I do horizontal alignment. So it's the same when we are here also. I can have this one here. Then I'll hold shift. I've selected it too. I can now center align, but that's not what we want. We want it to be here. So we don't need to do that. We just need to just drag and just put it here. That's done. So now to group everything, we just select one, select two, holding shift, select three, holding shift, then press Ctrl G to group. I hope this is clear. Yeah. Then make the checkbox. I just made a rectangle. I selected R on my computer, made a rectangle, and I dragged. Then four, give it a stroke, remove this. I can 0.5 by 1, 2, and I can change the color to this. But now we can see that the size of my and this one is kind of balanced. They're relative. So I cannot use this size for this text. It looks too big. So I'll just come down and notch it to 16. Oh, I thought something last time. I said you can link this. I've taught grouping and I've taught alignment now. And I've taught a bit of color this morning already. I said to choose your color in your design, you must use 60, 30, 10. I said KISS means keep it simple, stupid. So when you have a design, you make sure it's as simple as possible. Unless you, I won't talk about the entire UI. Okay, please ask. Yes, yes. Yeah, yeah. I said yeah. Yeah, you can break the rules sometimes. Yeah, as long as you are consistent with it, you can break the rules sometimes. But let me explain why you can break the rules sometimes. Let me explain why. Please, can you mute your mic? Let me explain why. Let me explain here now. To be honest.